Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
ISIS, a terror group like no other. They've used cash from oil, extortion, taxation and robbery to fund their self-declared state, spreading through Syria, Iraq and Libya, and through affiliates across the world. And they think big. They want to turn most of the Middle East and parts of Europe into an Islamic caliphate. But global jihad is expensive. On the ISIS payroll, around 30,000 fighters, said to be paid between $65 and $1,000 a month. The more wives and children, the bigger the paycheck. Total cost, around $360 million a year. Yet, with a reported $2 billion to spend this year, there is no shortage of cash to splash on insurgency. So where does their money come from? Last June, ISIS pulled off the biggest bank seizure in history in Iraq's second-largest city of Mosul, netting $429 million from the city's central bank. Other smash and grabs across the region bagged them another $70 million in cash and gold. In comparison, kidnap and ransom bring in a mere $45 million, but its propaganda value is priceless. Then there's taxation and extortion, which raked in more than $500 million. That includes taxing salaries, bank withdrawals and slave traders. ISIS moves the proceeds internationally through its own secret network of wire transfers and cash couriers. It is claimed another $55 million has been earned through taxing criminal excavation of antiquities. Ancient statues and frescoes are looted to be sold in Turkey and Lebanon before ISIS destroys what's left. Whilst in Libya, ISIS is reportedly demanding protection money from gangs smuggling migrants, profiting from the refugee crisis they've helped to create. But it's black gold that has been at the core of their money-making machine. Their oil fields in Syria and Iraq produced an estimated 70 to 90,000 barrels per day last year. Income, $100 million in 2014. Attempting to stem the flow of funds to the Caliphate, the US bombed IS refineries. Result? IS just sells the pure and unrefined oil instead. But who buys it? Step forward, their number one enemy, Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. His war machine needs oil as much as ISIS needs cash. According to intelligence gathered in a US Special Forces raid in May 2015, ISIS made $40 million from oil in a single month. What oil is left spreads out across the region, pumped under border fences, floated down rivers, and trucked along the E90 highway in Turkey. Destination, the international oil terminal in Ceyhan, where some experts fear ISIS crude may already have been mixed with legitimate oil. From here, the oil is shipped to Marseille, then piped to Lyon, Switzerland and Germany, where it is inadvertently refined by oil companies. By now, the oil is untraceable and potentially being used by people like you and me all over Europe, fueling a conflict which has killed almost 250,000 men, women and children.
And you can watch that again and read the full analysis on our Fact Check blog. And tomorrow we look deeper into one of those funding streams, Islamic State militants' criminal antiquities network. In Palmyra and beyond, IS propaganda suggests they're hell-bent on annihilating every trace of culture they come across. But as well as the spectacular destruction, the group is also running an illicit but very lucrative trade in the very artefacts it claims to abhor. Our reporter Inigo Gilmore investigates the Antiques Roadshow racket.
So we've come to this town and our contact has now gone inside the house, which is just nearby. And the idea is that they should be able to show us some of the antiquities they have, or show him at least.
When the Islamic State group took over Palmyra,
they were quick to seize on the iconic scenery of this treasured ancient city. An amphitheatre quickly became the backdrop for sadistic murder. Flag-waving supporters cheer on the killers. And in Palmyra and beyond, IS propaganda suggests they're hell-bent on annihilating every trace of culture they come across. The area under IS control is crammed with archaeological gems, particularly Syria, a crossroads of ancient cultures. That's why, as well as spectacular destruction, less publicized, IS is also secretly making huge profits from the same antiquities they claim to abhor. For all the talk of religious piety, IS are actually running an antiques roadshow racket right across this region from Aleppo to Mosul. It's highly organized and is now a major source of its funding. So we've come to this town and our contact has now gone inside the house. We're having to keep very low key here for obvious reasons.
مجرد ما دخلت قوات داعش إلى أي منطقة ما وكان فيها مناطق أثرية وتعرف هذا الموضوع هي مباشرة تفتح مكتب. هذا المكتب يحل مثل المحل يدار بطريقة تشبه طريقة المدير العام للآثار المتاحف.
This man knows all about it. We met him in Turkey, close to the Syrian border, and he spoke on condition of anonymity. We were introduced to him through a leading Syrian expert in this field. He works for an archaeological monitoring group that operates secretly inside IS-controlled areas. They try to document the looting of antiquities.
مكتب الآثار حقيقة يمثل الهيئة أو السلطة الأثرية في منطقة تنظيم الدولة الإسلامية وتخضع له كل المناطق الأثرية لسيطرته ويلعب دور مهم جدا في عملية تسهيل أعمال الحفر وعمليات تسهيل استخراج القطع كما يلعب دور مهم جدا أيضا في عمليات البيع والشراء وتهريب القطع. هؤلاء هم يقومون بعمليات بس فقط يعني مرافقة المرخصين.
And here are the permits issued by the Islamic State, allowing people to dig for ancient artifacts. We've obtained two. They show that the pillaging is systematically organized and sanctioned.
Islamic State Department of Archaeology, peace be upon you, God's mercy and blessings. You are requested to assist the bearer of this letter to search and excavate antiquities, knowing that he has a metal detector. May God reward you for this.
Islamic State, Aleppo office. In the name of God, the compassionate, the merciful. Our brother is permitted to excavate antiquities in this village, provided that he does not harm the Muslims there. Signed, Abu Qasura, November 2nd, 2014.
The Syrian archaeologists mounting resistance against IS passed these images to Channel 4 News. They say they show the industrial scale of IS operations in parts of Syria they control. Permit holders are offered diggers, drills, metal detectors, and dynamite for hire. This trench was dug at an excavation site near Raqqa. Those pillaging the sites have to pay taxes to IS.
مزادات في منطقة الرقة تخضع إشراف مباشر للديوان الأميري في الرقة. أيضا يساهمون في عمليات تهريب القطع خارج سوريا في حال لم يتم بيعها عن طريق تجار داخليين. لكن هؤلاء ليسوا لهم هيئة تنظيم الدولة من حيث الشكل واللبس، هم مواطنين عاديين، لكن يتعاملون مع تنظيم الدولة من باب الإفادة والاستفادة.
And that mutual interest is making a lot of money. So eBay is one place they're putting this. In the ultimate postmodern twist, he told me that IS is even trying to flog off antiquities on eBay and Facebook, though he also said that these platforms moved quickly to remove these adverts once they found out.
إذا كتبت أنت مثلا artifact Syrian on eBay مثلا site، هي أحد القطع مثلا هذا الموقع.
We'd received a tip-off that some smugglers were looking for new customers. We headed out of Antakya towards Rohanli, a gritty border town, now notorious for its network of clandestine smugglers. For years, this nondescript landscape has been the transit point for smuggled weapons, goods and people in and out of Syria. Now they're trading in Syria's cultural history. IS is operating just over 30 miles away across the border from here. We were told, trust no one.
He's calling.
He's calling.
طب في عندك صور له؟ اوكي. Go.
What did he say?
So can your friend is rich?
We've come to this town and our contact has now gone inside the house, which is just nearby. He's from Homs and the people, the smugglers, are from Homs. And the idea is that they should be able to show us some of the antiquities they have, or show him at least. We're having to keep very low key here for obvious reasons.
We were waiting for an hour.
So I can see him. Get ready.
Our contact returned. He seemed nervous.
I went to the middleman's house and he showed me with another middleman, he showed me the coins. It's Islamic coins, 1,300 years old.
If not fake, it's easy to understand the appeal of this gold coin. Allegedly dating from the late 7th century and the time of the Caliphate, it's inscribed with an Islamic prayer. The dealers were asking $600,000 for it. An expert who viewed our video said it could be real, but the price was absurdly high.
There was also a book in another house.
What was the book?
It's a Christian old book, like something like 1,500 years ago or 2,000.
There's a big market in Christian relics plundered from Syria. An expert told us this could be a highly valuable early Christian book. There's a vast antiquities market, much of it originating in IS-controlled areas, and it offers a glimpse into the riches of ancient Syria. Roman statuettes dating from the 2nd to the 4th century AD, alabaster seals from Syria's Bronze Age, 3000 BC. These red and blue pieces are jewelry spacers for Syrian women, believed to date from 1500 to 1200 BC. And then there are the coins, these ones both from the Roman and Persian empires. Then, of course, there's the much valued mosaics. This one on the market is from Idlib, outside IS control, underlining how other militias are involved in this lucrative illicit trade. But there are plenty more mosaics being offered by IS dealers, here advertising their wares via a sort of clandestine torchlit shopping channel. Video clips like this one are passed around through WhatsApp and email. Mosaics like this can sell for anything between $50,000 and $200,000.
هاي بالذات من الرقة مثل الأبيض في مدينة أثرية كثير عن هنيك مواقع أثرية جدا جدا غنية بالأثارات.
This Syrian dealer in Antakya showed me pictures of antiquities coming out of the Islamic State capital of Raqqa. One item, a Roman-era statue selling for $1 million. The buyers, he says, come from the Gulf states, from Russia and across Europe. He pointed out that many of the new items flooding onto the market are now coming from Palmyra. We were told that ever since IS took over Palmyra, there's been Caliphate-sponsored looting on a massive scale. Syria's prized antiquities are now already turning up in London and other world capitals. The buyers
from among the super wealthy. Islamic State is the most organized and prolific of the groups doing this looting. Away from their carefully crafted propaganda, you find grubby bureaucrats who certainly know the price of everything, but the value of nothing.